afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Trader Merlin Show for your Tuesday edition. As I may seem just completely gassed and exhausted today, my apologies. I've been teaching since I've been in a crypto class from 7 a.m. to 1:30, and then literally just took a 5-minute break to come up and teach this one. So I'm a little bit tired. Sorry if my throat goes out. I'm over here pounding Dr. Pepper trying to get my energy level up for you guys. But I'll hopefully do a justice for today's show. So, exciting stuff, man. Crazy things happening over the weekend, but I wanted to start with Intel, which I know some of you have. I guess, Steve, you got a good position in Intel. You know, we talked about this in a while back where I think we broke down, I forgot exactly what show it was, but it was definitely a few months ago. I talked about looking at the chip makers and looking at AMD, Broadcom, AMAT, and I said if I could buy one, it'd be Intel. And one of the reasons I was thinking was I thought it'd be more of an acquisition target. And the belief was they have so much money coming in from the government to build all these factories, which they're building. Right? Some are pretty close to done, but it was billions of dollars, yet their technology's outdated. Their foundry, legacy, CPU stuff, just not quite cutting it. And it was either keep up with the new world or fall behind. And there was the belief that someone would come in and buy all the infrastructure, which is probably worth a lot. And over the past few days, we definitely have seen a significant move up in Intel's price chart, which I will show you this right here. Let's go INTC. And, Colin Teddards also was talking about this one. This is one of his big picks, which I think we mentioned a few weeks back as well. But, it really hasn't done too much. It felt like it was doing really great back here in September and October. They came right back down to these lows right around 18, 19 bucks. And then all of a sudden, over the past couple of weeks, really started to accelerate. And I'll go from these lows of February 3rd to where we are today. You're talking a 45.8% increase in the valuation of Intel. Now, what's driving all this? Well, there is a ton of speculation that this may be the end of Intel. Now, it doesn't mean it's an end because it's garbage. They've got tremendous value and assets on hand, and this may get sold off to multiple parties. There's talk about Taiwan Semiconductor getting pieces of it. There's talk about Broadcom or Avgo getting parts of it as well. So this may get split up in a bunch of different parts. And historically, when you see this, usually it brings in great valuations. And the numbers that I'm seeing thrown around put a price target, which Steve, you probably love this. You probably heard this one as well. That based off the valuations and selling off different components of that company, that puts a price target of roughly $38 on the price of Intel, which I'm sure you'd probably be happy with. So I know I feel like it's kind of sad and melancholy and nostalgic because Intel represented so much of the development of technology.com, all of that, and to see it maybe disappear would be kind of sad. But the components would be sold off to bigger, better. NVIDIA might get some of those parts as well. At this point, you've got huge factories around the U.S., which could be of great value. Where does Taiwan Semiconductor fit into this is they've got the 3-nanometer chip. And there's talk about them having a 2-nanometer chip, which Intel's not even close to that. And if Taiwan Semiconductor can get those factories and get production up and running in the United States, my assumption would be that there would be great incentives put in place by President Trump to get TSM to have an American arm where we are building these amazing chips in U.S. So as opposed to having to deal with Taiwan and dealing with China and tensions there and tariffs, hey, we're building them in the United States, even though it's run by Taiwan Semiconductor. Interesting. I think it's actually very good for technology. I think it's great for the markets, and I certainly think it's great for anyone who holds Intel. And I feel like this could be more upside potential here for INTC. Now, how did some of the siblings do? You look at AMD here, nothing, right? There was no reaction today from AMD on this one. You could look at AVGO. AVGO didn't really have much of a. I actually thought this might actually be a positive thing for Broadcom and TSM because it does grow their reach. It grows their ability to manufacture the products that they have. But Broadcom is down 1.94%. You get TSM today. We're talking about Semiconductor down 0.57%. So not a lot of reaction there, but Intel really just ripping on that news. And it does feel like it's going to continue. Now, NVIDIA, I have no NVIDIA play. Mine expired last Friday. I really wanted more of a sell-off to maybe sell some more puts or buy into NVIDIA, but I'm out of it right now. I know some of you are still into NVIDIA on the long haul side of things. So still looking pretty darn good for NVIDIA, even though it had a really big slide there on their news with DeepSeek, which ultimately for me, I think that's better news for NVIDIA than bad news. So things look fantastic for Intel holders. Bummed I didn't buy into it. As I was saying, that's the one I would buy into, and I did not buy into it. There's very few charts that have that sort of accelerated move over the past couple of weeks. And of course, one of them I'm in and one of them I am not. This one I'm not in. And as you guys know, I don't know if you saw SMCI today. SMCI was just absolutely fantastic. And those types of gains are even more dramatic than what you saw with Intel. In 10 days, SMCI is up 118%. Goodness gracious, 118%. And I'm out at $34. That's just so disheartening, but it is what it is. Finishing today right around $56. I'm out at 34 just a few days ago. Pretty just striking. Unbelievable. Anyway, we'll keep on moving from there. So as far as broader markets, I mentioned in the description for today's show, the NASDAQ is looking great, right? We're coming right near all-time highs, but the S&P, which to me is the dog that wags the tail, is definitely something that we should take a peek at, because from a technical perspective, it has been getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And if you want to make an ascending triangle out of this, which is one of my personal favorite patterns, right? Trend is your friend till the end of the close. I read Finn Fury's comments and the word close stuck in my head. The trend is your friend till the bend at the end. If you look at the trajectory here and what's been going on with the lows, I'm going to connect it through just the low points, the tails here. I'll do two lines. We'll do one through most points of contact and one through tails. And that looks like most points of contact. Now, yeah, right about there. So that's not a great trend line to go that far back. But anyway, the general idea is you're making higher highs, higher lows, and you're actually making same highs and higher lows. This is compression. And after such a long uptrend, that compression is really just a pause, right? So it's kind of hesitating at that ceiling for whatever reason. Markets are holding it down at that upward price. And now all of a sudden, it feels like it's just about to break. So we're there today. We literally hit the upside of that. The high price that we hit on Friday, January 24th, the high price was 6,162, and today our high price was 6,157. So we're just about to all-time highs on this one. The big question that I have for myself, and I'm sure some of you thinking this as well, is do we get that pullback from today's activity down to maybe that trend line before we start another attempt up? And ultimately, something's going to give here. And it does feel to me like the all-time high will be violated. We're going to see a break to the upside here just because the lows are in control of this uptrend. It's pretty bullish, especially for anyone who's looking at S&P charts. So I love this pattern here today. I do feel like there's a good potential for a break of the upside. However, I do think you'll see a small pullback beforehand. So maybe a couple days this week we'll get some downside movement and then rip to the upside. Now, pretty crazy. Oliver says, what is the catalyst for them? Shakes my head. Yeah, I don't know, man. That chart of SMCI is like, oh, are you kidding me? Why did I sell those $34 calls? It's fine. It's funny because at the end of the day, I talked about this with you guys. My rate of return was 25% on it. I'm totally fine for, a 6-week trade, make 25%. I'm good with that all day long. I got no problem with it. However, now it would have been like 125, 130, maybe more percent rate of return in another week. Bummer. Dab nabbit. Let's see. I should have got a call at the end. At the end, you see that. Well, today's what I would say you got a God candle on Intel. So the big question for Steve and others who are long Intel right now is, does today's comments and news about a potential, granted, this doesn't mean this is signed, sealed, delivered, but it certainly would fall in the high probability category for me because by itself, I don't think Intel survives it. I think Intel is just lugging along with the inferior product, but they have amazing facilities that just need to be converted to better technology, which they don't have. So you bring in companies that'll take their facilities, put in the better technology, which of course is proprietary, and take technology manufacturing of chips in the U.S. to a whole nother level. This is something that I think Trump's really wants, because what it does is it takes a lot of our dependency on TSM from Taiwan off the table. We don't have to worry about this tit for tat stuff with China because of TSM. Now, if it stays in the U.S., fine. The ones that are manufactured in Taiwan, you keep those there. We'll create everything we need here in-house in the U.S. That gives a great power position for Trump and the current administration. So I would definitely think that you're going to get more concessions made on Trump's side than from Taiwan Semiconductor. Right? I think Taiwan's going to demand quite a bit to come over and take all this over. But do we think it's going to sell off? I mean, do we close this gap at 28.80? Right, you got this origin of this gap, actually a little bit higher. Let me draw this line exactly where it should be because it's not quite on line. And let's see here, boom, boom, boom. And it's 29.05 is the origin of this gap down that happened on their earnings back in August of 2024. So 29.05 to me becomes that logical close the gap target, and typically it's going to sell off from there. But we're dealing with completely different external events at this moment in time. You're dealing with this is potentially earth-shattering news for Intel, literally shattering in the fact that it's going to break it up into smaller pieces, sell those pieces off, and make a ton of money. So great for anybody who's an Intel shareholder. I don't know what I would do if I was in your shoes or those who own it right now, what I would do with it. I definitely thought we'd see upside potential, but when it happens this fast, I'm skittish. You guys have seen me in the past compared to someone like Larry who will just kind of, oh, no, I know it's going to get to 45. I'm holding forever. When I see something move 45% in a week, I'll take those profits and run, especially with the volume and the other parts of this chart. So you can see we've got exceptionally high volume here. I don't know if I necessarily call this climactic because what we like to see is one big spike up of volume, and that would be your climactic volume. Big Eb says sell it. What would you guys do? I'm just curious. Let's say you're up. I know, Steve, you're back to break even, so you're not. But if your stock rallied 45% in 5 days, what would you do? Just kind of curious. I guess the bigger question would be, it wasn't 5 days. It was 10 days. 45% in 10 days. I guess the bigger question would be, what was your thought process on it, right? Where was your ultimate target? Did you think it was going to go to 60, 80, 100? That might change perspective. But I know me, man. I'm in Big Eb's camp. I would definitely sell, guarantee I sell half. My call expires this March 14th. So you have another month to go. You got another month to go at 35. You said 35 of your calls? I mean, if we get there, that's going to be great for you. But, my one worry when this happens, I'm like the kiss of death when this happens. Because what would happen to me normally is this. You look at this chart of Intel here, and it's shot up, and let's just hypothetically, I'm not long now, but hypothetically, let's say I'm long. If I were to sell my position, then what's going to happen is this thing's going to rally up to like $100. If I was to hold my position, it invariably will go all the way back down to $19 until the day I get out, and then it'll go back up. So, yeah, Steve, I would dump half. I would dump half personally, just because it certainly could keep going up. I think the deal will go through. It makes so much sense for Intel. It makes so much sense for the United States. And man, it certainly makes sense for Taiwan Semiconductor to geographically disperse even more and get out from the problems that may exist over in Taiwan with China and the U.S. tensions over there. So to me, if I have to gauge the probability here, I'd say this is most likely going to happen. But as you can imagine, there's a lot of moving parts here. It's not as simple as just, you get a piece, you get a piece, you get a piece. It has to be very clear definition of what those pieces are, who's getting what concessions. And as I look at it, I really have a feeling that Trump is going to broker this deal or try to broker this deal and make sure that Taiwan Semiconductor is in it. And Taiwan Semiconductor is getting a lion's share of the deal here. So you look at TSM, their chart's still looking pretty good, although it's definitely a very positive chart from a gains perspective, although the past couple weeks have been rather choppy. This to me, depending on what the terms are, could definitely push TSM even higher here, as that means more reach, more production, more chips, more manufacturing. Looks like it could be pretty darn good. Oh, man. Exciting ones there. And it was interesting when you look at SMH, which is your semiconductor, you had the nice pop today because Intel certainly helping out there, but not a lot of other chip makers helping out. Right? You got your AMAT today was down, Marvell was down. I could bring up other chip makers, but Intel really being a lion's share and pushing that thing to the upside was pretty darn good. What'd you got, Indigo? My Palantir went from 15 to 115, sold some shares, locking profits in the stock, rockets back up even more. Don't worry about it, my friend. Don't worry about it. If you profited from 15 to 115, you made $100 per share, you should pat yourself on the back, buy yourself a nice little gift, and be like, damn, that was good. Don't worry about left on the table. Here's your Palantir. Yeah, it's a 124. So you would have gotten yourself another $9. Look, if that happens to you guys, just look at SMCI. That's all you got to do, and then you'll feel a lot better about it, right? Remember, I had 6,000 shares of SMCI. So 6,000 shares, I'm out at 34. It's now at 55, almost $56. That's an extra $22 per share. 22 times 12, or sorry, 22 times 6. I'm looking at $140,000 extra left on the table on this trade. $140,000 extra on this trade. Oh well. Again, I'm very happy with the rate of return I got. I certainly would love to have had a lot more, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Indigo. You did great. You had a phenomenal trade. What is the difference with this Intel Taiwan Semiconductor and the Nippon US Steel deal that did not happen? Great question. So and this is going to be the devil's in the details, right? The U.S. isn't in need of steel. Not to the same extent we are in need of Taiwan Semiconductor's chips. So I think, I'm right there with you. Why would you block Nippon from buying U.S. steel? We don't want Japanese ownership of an American company. That's so critical. What's the difference here? I don't know what the ownership structure will look like. Will they be partners? Will they have outright ownership? We have other chip makers in the United States, and maybe splitting it up saves a little bit of that. So having a chip maker in the U.S. isn't necessarily a bad thing. We've got other chip maker, or having a Taiwan manufacturer in the United States isn't necessarily a bad thing because we still have plenty of other competitors in that industry, whereas steel, not so much. That would be my thought on it, is that we have other competitors out there, and we're still buying our chips from Taiwan Semiconductor anyway, so let's just move it close to home. With U.S. Steel, you're looking at one of our primary steel manufacturers, and remember, Intel's industry is fizzling. Its foundry stuff is, I don't know, it's the slowest horse to the glue factory, as they say. So I think it's slightly different, but you're right. You're bringing in a Taiwan company to run major chip manufacturing in the U.S., but we're already buying it from them anyway. See, if we were buying Nippon Steel, so let's go to Nippon Steel and say we're buying all the steel from Japan, and Japan said, hey, we'd like to come to the U.S. and manufacture our steel there, it might be slightly different. I mean, Intel was already done anyway, in my opinion. There's another trade. Yep, there's always another trade, man. Always another trade. Always another trade. You have to tell yourself that. Otherwise, it gets frustrating. And every day, it's funny. Every day this SMCI keeps doing this to me. Like, jumps up 10% one day. Like, man, what a huge day. And today, 16% moved to the upside. Goodness gracious. It's all right. My only thing I would have done differently is I would have staggered my strike prices. So I did both of them at $34 in two different tranches of 3,000 and 3,000. One expiring this Friday, one expiring next Friday. I should have staggered them a little bit higher and gone 34 to 36, but instead I looked at the numbers, I ran it, and I have a spreadsheet and said, if I get out at this, totally fine. In hindsight is always 20/20. And now, I wouldn't have sold it. And of course, guess who's messaging me all the time now? Mr. Larry Jacobson. He's like, see, I told you, SMCI. I'm like, yeah, I know, dude. I know. But I had my money on the line, walked away from it a winner. That's all I care about. And again, in that trade, if you look at this trade here, I would say that my trade on SMCI, if we had to grade it from a baseball perspective, would have been a solid double, right? 25% in 6 weeks. I think we'd all agree that's a pretty solid double. Whereas right now, if I kept it, this is a grand slam. The absolute grand slam on this one. But whatever. I don't care. I'm fine with my solid double. All right, let's see. I was happy at 55. Was in at 19. Yep, good for you, man. Palantir. It's funny because my good friend, he's got a bunch of Palantir, and he didn't even realize how much it's gone up. I was like, you might want to liquidate some of that. Lock in some profits, right? Don't have to sell it all. Sell some of it. VB, Congressman from Green Bay, Wisconsin, left Congress before term was up to be chief marketing officer at Palantir. Yeah, it's funny. Like, you would think that someone who's a congressman would, that's the elite level, right? You get to be a congressman or woman, and it's like now I feel like they have like a license to print money. You could just, oh yeah, I go in there not rich, and I'm going to come out rich. But now you're leaving that to go to Palantir? What, man, big opportunity. Exactly, Margaret, profiting from the connections. Yep. He's got a lot of connections up there on Capitol Hill, I'm sure, using that influence to help Palantir. That's business, man. That's how it works. Usually how it works. I usually stagger strikes when I own enough shares. Yeah. And it's funny, Steve, because I remember when that happened, I had sold 3,000 expiring that Friday. And I go, you know what? I should sell them higher. And I go, you know what? 34 is a great number for me. I'm totally fine with it. Is what it is. We'll get another one down the road, and hopefully the story will be different. See, I like trades that perform like this, but over, let's say, 6 months. Because usually my strike prices aren't that far out of the money. In this case, I wouldn't have been selling the $46 strikes. There's no premium there. So I would be selling, a little bit. But it is what it is. All right, let's talk about the dreaded C word, crypto. So when Trump's coin came out on January 17th, I told you guys, scam. It's a fraud. It's a rug pull. Then the Melania coin comes out. Scam, fraud, rug pull. And some of you may not know what I mean when I say rug pull. A rug pull is where you create a project, you create a liquidity pool with a small portion of it, you keep a large amount of shares for yourself or the people who built it, and then as it gets pumped and skyrockets, you're just liquidating your big block into that pool of unwilling, unsuspecting buyers. So the big news is, and this is extremely damaging to crypto. I've been saying this for a long time. I hate meme coins. I think they're garbage. I think they're scams. I would love to put these people in jail, which hopefully will happen here soon, but they're fraudulent. They're just degenerate gamblers. They serve no purpose. There's nothing backing them. And Argentina just got hit with one. Not only did they get hit with one of them, but the rug pull that happened in Argentina was perpetrated by the same people that built Trump coin and Melania, the same development team. So what these guys did is somehow somebody reached out to Milei, of the Argentinian president, and said, hey, we'll create this stable coin, or let's create this crypto for you, and probably convinced him that this is going to be great for his country. It's going to be a lot of money for his people, blah, 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 blah. Well, now it's this black eye because what happened is they released it, and the development team, as soon as it went live, this thing shot straight up. And I don't know if I can get a good chart of it. Let me see if I can bring up the, it's called Libra. So we go Libra. Let me see if I can get a good chart of it. Let's go to like a 15-minute time frame. So here's Libra. Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't say help over here, but it was just sub pennies, and then it shot up. Let me see if I can find a different one. Let's go Libra. No. Yeah, they're all going to start at a different price. And basically what you ended up with is a rug pull. This is the classic rug pull where it just craters. It absolutely drops. And this is a 15-minute time frame, guys. From that peak to the bottom here is 19 bars. That's 19 15-minute bars. It fell 87%. And the developers of this convinced Milei to tweet about it, and he posted about it. Milei went out and tweeted about Libra. And of course, the Argentinian people who were behind Milei for changing Argentina and getting rid of a lot of waste, etc., they're buying into it. So who's left holding the bag are these poor Argentinian citizens who are already struggling enough with rampant inflation, just got absolutely screwed from these developers that built Trump coin, built Melania coin, and several others. And I'm hoping heads roll. I'm hoping we see someone go to jail or get busted for this, because this is fraud on the highest level. You've defrauded a country doing this. And unfortunately for me, I'm a big fan of crypto. You guys know I'm a big fan of crypto, but I think that it's fraught with scams. I think it's fraught with a lot of real negative garbage. And unfortunately, the average person, and I now say that all of you are well above the average person, because the conversations, even with you outside of my crypto course in here, I think you have a better understanding of what you should be looking for. I want a project that actually has a purpose. I want to research and understand what they're doing. Who's behind that team? What it's hoping to achieve? Is it a unique project? You got to think of these things. When you see a Trump coin pop up and somebody says you got to buy it right away, red flags should be going off. I made this comment a while back. I've said it multiple times in my crypto class, which is you want to get rich in a very short window of time, make literally hundreds of millions of dollars. You just have to know a couple people that are prominent and get them to tweet about something. I can create, if any one of you knew somebody who's connected, I could create a cryptocurrency. We could keep 90% of it for ourselves. We put $100,000 in cash into a liquidity pool on Uniswap, which is what happened. Put in 10% of these tokens. The world's trying to buy that small little amount, jacks the price up, triggers every alarm in the industry because, oh my gosh, this thing's up 1,000% in 10 minutes. Then everybody buys into it like lemmings, and you unload your other 90%, and we walk away unscathed, no damage. It's not a Ponzi scheme. It's straight fraud. It's straight fraud. Ponzi scheme, in my opinion, not in my opinion, the definition of a Ponzi scheme is you promise rates of return. So let's say I promise you 20% rate of return per month. You guys are like, hell yeah, sign me up. More people sign up for this, and I take their deposits, and I'm paying you, the early adopters. And as long as more people keep coming in, the better. With this, there's no payment of anything. You're just hoping that you make some money off this popularity of this meme coin because the president of your country in Argentina has said, Libra, it's my new crypto. Rug pull. The funny thing is, Merlin is tweeted out about his coin, which is created by this company, and he was probably going to resign or be removed from office for the damage he's caused his people. However, if we flip the book back on Trump, who has done the exact same thing, he's tweeted about it multiple times. The crypto has been rug pulled. Now, granted, it's got more value because you got more buyers here in the United States, so now it's like $16 or something. What's the difference between what Merlin has done and what Trump has done? Now, both will claim, I didn't know all the details about it. Doesn't matter. You promoted it. But we're going to see here very different treatment of these elected officials for doing the exact same thing. So I'll keep my eye on this one going forward. Unfortunately, Merlin is probably going to take most of the heat, and he'll lose his position. He may have to step down as the president of Argentina. We'll see. I don't know. This is all speculation. But this is all perpetrated by scammers. And I'm hoping our regulatory environment, as liberal as I hope it is with crypto, needs to crack down on this stuff because this has caused tremendous damage to the reputation of crypto. And if you look at Solana, right? Solana is where they're building a lot of these projects. These scammers are working from. Look what's gone on with Solana. Oops, let me zoom out here. Right, here's Solana on a 15-minute basis. Let's go to a daily. Can you see the damage done? I mean, this is since Merlin's coin, Solana's down significantly, and it's even more so. This is when the Trump coin came out on the 17th. Right there is the day that Trump coin was released. Ever since then, it's been selling off aggressively. And I think the reality is that Solana could get some heat from industry because of they're the filtering, I guess, of these crap coins, the genesis creation. Dylan, good to see you, Dylan. Dylan says, how does someone buy one of these crap coins and blame anyone else but themselves when they lose their money? I agree. I totally agree. But, it's like saying, how does someone sue a drug dealer for selling them fentanyl when it killed their family members? People don't know what they don't know. And I make the statement, anybody who gets involved with crypto, you have to educate yourself. Unfortunately, it's full of greed and people who want to, become millionaires overnight. It's kind of like people that come on this show and in my chat room are always pumping. They're always pumping penny stocks. Penny stocks are meme coins. You're hoping to get lucky, right? I don't need to be right all the time. I just need to be right once, right? That's a penny stock trader's dream. I got a good friend of mine from high school, and he's posting on his Twitter feed. He goes, here's my watch list. Every one of them was under 1 penny. Like 0.0001. He's like, this is my watch list. I'm like, dude, stop. You'll never be consistent. So you will always have degenerate gamblers. people who are looking to get rich quick. And unfortunately, what I hate about this one is they're using presidents of countries to facilitate these frauds. That has to stop. If I'm a celebrity, if I'm Kanye West and I'm pumping, I could go to jail. I could get SEC against me. I could get fined. I could potentially go to jail for fraud for pumping a coin if I'm a celebrity. How is it different for a president? Whether it's Argentina or the United States or Europe, it doesn't matter to me. I don't think there should be this above the law type of reproach. And I know Miele is going to claim ignorance as I watched an interview with CoffeeZilla on this, and the developer of the project, what's his name, Aaron Davis or something like that, Hayden Davis, he specifically says, he goes, I don't think Miele knew what was going on at all. Someone just convinced him that this was going to be great and he should tweet about it. Rug pull. Ugh, drives me nuts. Did I catch the Grok demo last night? Can I replace what you're using now for your graphics? I didn't see the demo last night. I've been wanting to play with it. I do have Grok, so I haven't looked at Grok 3, but I might end up switching. I usually do the descriptions for this show. I type in the topics that I want to talk about and have it write my descriptions for me. ChatGPT is better than Grok. From that utility, but I'm going to do a side-by-side test on Grok versus ChatGPT and see which one's better, which one's worse. I think that XAI, Grok, will be the best. I think it's going to be the best of the best. I think Elon's got so much processing power. He's buying tons of NVIDIA chips. He's getting stuff done. I mean, love him or hate him, I'm not betting against Elon Musk. So there we go. All right, let me go into what happened out there today. Unless you guys got stuff. Let me see. Did I miss anything? Where are the best charting platforms? So for me, honestly, Margaret, I like TradingView. And I get no plug, I get no incentive, I get no benefits. But the reason I like TradingView is this, and I think I've shown this to you guys before, is I can very quickly create market segments or fragments like this. So you can see here, Margaret, I've got indexes, Forex, metals, softs, futures, cryptocurrency, S&P sectors, Magnificent Seven. I can very quickly, condense different marketplaces. There is not another platform that I know of on a centralized exchange. No, I don't. Chris, I will work on an Elon Musk impression. Let me work on that one. But I can't, on one platform, have futures and stocks and crypto all in one, because usually crypto is the outlier. So that's why I like this one the best, because I have easy access to it and I can look at multiple marketplaces. It's I'm a big fan of TradingView. So I would use TradingView for my charts. And by the way, when you open up a Coinbase account or a Binance account or a Kraken account or even Gemini, they're using TradingView's charts anyway. So why not just get comfortable with TradingView? Let's see. Wouldn't surprise me if Trump is involved in this. Look, I think Trump is about as culpable as Miele. I think like any other project with Trump, like World Liberty Financial, someone approached Trump and said, hey, I want to create this crypto called World Liberty Financial. We'll make you the focal point and you get half of it. And he's going to go, yeah, that's cool. Let's do it. So I don't think that Trump knows the inner workings of what happened. And maybe we have to get some court case clarity on what semblance of accountability is there for somebody, especially an influencer. And it doesn't have to be Trump, right? I'm not trying to pick on Trump here. It could be, who else could be a pretty... Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, right? Maybe there's a crypto called The Rock, R-O-C-K, right? Dwayne probably doesn't know about crypto, but someone's going to approach him just like they did about his tequila and say, hey, listen, you want to put your name on this and promote it? We'll give you X percentage of the company and X percentage of the profits. And he's going to go, hell yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do it. So I think there's a lot of people who are going to get in trouble for this. It's just right now, what are the rules? Ignorance is not a defense. Yeah. Who's your broker to use TradeStation? Rita, I don't trade on TradeStation. I just do it for analysis. I have not connected, but if you use TradingView, and now I sound like a salesperson for TradingView, if you go to the trading panel, there's a lot of different brokers you can connect. So if you're talking about crypto, you've got Webull, you've got Gemini you can connect, you've got Bitstamp you can connect, and there's a lot of different brokers that can connect to these platforms. OKX is another big one, but I don't see Coinbase was not on here, which I thought was kind of interesting. But yeah, there's plenty of them. Just be careful with who you pick. Do your research on these firms. Just because they're listed here doesn't mean that they are a strong, legitimate company, right? Some of them may be a little bit problematic. So, but yeah, I like them from a technical analysis perspective. It's just charting wise, it's now become my favorite. It used to be TradeStation. I used to love TradeStation, but now I'm more a fan of TradingView. I like TradingView chart. I trade on TradeStation. There you go. Hawk Tua girl still in big trouble. Yep, she is. And you know, Kay Sweeney, this may be the test is what happened. There needs to be someone needs to be held accountable for these crypto projects. Unfortunately, it's not there right now. I'd love to see. I hate to say it, but I wish Gary Gensler was here because Gary Gensler would probably be up in arms about this. Yet I'm surprised no one in the U.S. is talking about the Trump coin and Melania coin rug pull. And now the world is talking about Argentina's. It's getting way more attention than the U.S. one. Let's go see what Trump coin doing. Oops, TRUMP. We'll go to crypto and we'll go Trump Tether. I mean, I don't know about you, but that looks like a rug pull. I mean, this thing was up at $70+ and now is trading at 16. That's a 78% slide. That's a rug pull. Melania. Let's go Melania. I mean, this is even worse. This one's down 91%. And the only people that make money off of this are the developers. You know, for the average person, and this goes back to Dylan's comment, and I agree, you know, how does somebody who buys one of these, you'd have to go out of your way to buy this. You have to go onto a decentralized exchange like Uniswap or SushiSwap. You already have to have some Ethereum or some other crypto. You swap it for these tokens, but by the time you swapped it, it's already had its move, and now is probably crashing down. I mean, essentially, what happened with Miele is whoever built it used Miele to create the drive, the impulse buying, and they just sold off into that. They call it sniping, where you're basically sniping all these buyers, these dumb, unsuspecting buyers have no clue what's going on. So, you know, guys, just be careful. If you get into some crypto trader, you can always bounce ideas off of me. If it's a meme coin, I'm probably going to tell you that you're just wasting your time. It's a scam. Stay away from it. But, you know, happy to help out anytime I can. Merlin, any idea of how much money this Argentina coin took from the people? I've heard upwards of $6 billion, but not really clear on how much was taken. But that's a lot of money. You know, these people are already not in the best financial shape in Argentina. They're facing hyperinflation. Well, it's gotten a little bit better since Miele took over, but they still have pretty high inflation. You know, they're struggling, and all of a sudden you rip people off like this. That chaps my hide, man. To a bunch of 20-something-year-old scammers. I mean, crypto is the new venue for scams. You want to create a scam, it's easy. Like I say, I can create a crypto for you in 7 minutes. I can create a liquidity pool in another 3 minutes. So in 10 minutes, we could be pushing this to any celebrity to market it, pump it, dump it, make millions of dollars. But I have a moral backbone. I have a code of ethics in the way I follow, and I don't want to steal from people. Unfortunately, a lot of people in the world are not like that. Let me see here. Adam says, hey, Merlin, have a look at the 5-minute drop-based drop on the NQ. 5 minutes, huh? You're going short term. All right. Targeted 3-to-1. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it up there, but I got stopped for 1-to-1 profit. Could you please take a look and give me some feedback? So, I took a 5 drop based on Queen on NASDAQ on the open of today, huh? Are you talking? I mean, I need numbers really, because it's like, well, on the open, but are you talking right in here and you got stopped out? You said you got long on a. I took a 5-minute drop-based drop. So you basically did the breakdown on this one, and then I'm just not clear on when you got stopped out. So either send picture at him, or I need more details on numbers here. But, you know, for me on the NASDAQ, as I was watching this from the sidelines this morning, you know, when you broke down below those lows from back here, from our Friday session, from the 17th, you know, those lows, once that was broken, that would have been my trigger for a breakdown. But it did come ripping right back up, so I don't know what your stop losses were or trails or what. Let's see. Ignorance not a defense. Maybe Grok can give you a... you know what? I've been looking, Mike. I've been looking at a popcorn trade of the day remake but I haven't been able to find one. I've been using Sora to create a popcorn movie, but they don't look good. They're just really not that good. Hawk2 will claim ignorance, and she's right, Margaret. Hawk2 didn't know. She has no idea. Someone came to Hawk2 girl and said, hey, listen, we will give you, I think it was 50% of all the profits of this if you just put your name on it. And of course she's going to go, yeah, I'm a country girl. What is she? She worked at a spring factory, like springs for cars. I think she worked at a spring factory. So she doesn't have a crypto background. She's no engineer. She's no MIT graduate. Someone said, you're going to make a lot of money if you just put your name on it. And she went, yeah. So I think ignorance may actually save her on that one because she can prove I didn't know. These guys told me I'd make a bunch of money. But unfortunately, those people won't get busted. The McConaughey coin. I might buy the McConaughey coin. All right. What's the ticker symbol? ALT? ALGHT? Put them in jail. Yep. He just showed Americans. Who are we talking about, Mr. Barbarino? Bookies make money always according to the movie Trading Places. Love Trading Places. Freaking awesome movie. All right, so let me go and just walk through our top 8 here, and I'll wrap up because I'm exhausted. I am absolutely beat. We're not seeing follow through on the Bitcoin chart, unfortunately. So I'll start at the bottom here. Bitcoin having a pretty rough day. Let me go into our daily. And the reason this one's so bad is look where our low point was today. You know, I had this box drawn out where we've kind of been traveling sideways for the better part of a week. 2 weeks. The low point of that was 94,285, and we're down below that now, which really makes me believe that we'll probably end up seeing further downward action to right around 89,000, which would be terrible. I don't want to see that, but that's just kind of what the price chart's telling us. Now we'll see. The way it fell today was pretty interesting, and then it started to bounce back up. Let me look at the spot price. Go to my cryptocurrency tab. We'll go to BTC. So we're back up to 95,243 on the spot price. So we haven't gotten the futures market's on pause right now. But there's your bigger yellow box on the spot price. So 92.3 is kind of the lower area where I've been looking at, kind of where it's been the most points of contact here. We didn't get down there today, but we certainly have hit these levels that it's at, that it hit today a couple times over the past few weeks. So not looking great. You're making lower highs and lower lows. So for Bitcoiners out there, this is not looking so good. But don't worry, we've got Michael Saylor hiding behind the scenes. Hopefully he'll buy some this weekend or this week and push it up. So your NASDAQ, one of your weaker gainers on the day, 0.16%. Notice very close to a bigger double top here. It's got to get back up to those highs that we saw back on December 17th. But all in all, still looking pretty good. Today, a big indecision moment. Not looking that great, but a little bit of a pause, possibly after this nice big rally, but still a gain up to 22,232. Your S&P, though, is the one I'm most impressed with. I love the ascending triangle. Like I mentioned before, I do think you're going to get a little bit of a pullback before we get that next move, but it does lead me to believe we're going to see all-time highs here very soon for the S&P. NASDAQ, or the dollar index, all right, dollar index bouncing a little bit off that yellow box. Now, this is where technical analysis becomes much more of an art because technically, that yellow box was violated. You guys can see the tail went down there on Friday, but we didn't close below it. So I'm already making excuses for this demand zone to hold here. Today you had a nice little move up, closing at 107, but we'll see if this yellow box holds. Right now, that trend is clearly to the downside for that dollar index, and well, fine. I mean, you got a potential weaker dollar here, even though I do think you'll see the dollar get stronger. Well, there you go. Fourth place was the Russell 2000. Nothing. Who cares? 0.53% move up to the upside, but I don't see anything technical here that's great. Crude oil. Also, a little bit of an about face. I actually saw this sell-off happening Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. I thought we might continue down and get to that yellow box demand zone that we drew weeks ago, down right around that 69.50 mark. So we'll see if we can get down there. But today, nice pop to the upside, as well as that 10-year yield, which has been just jiggy as well. 4.55% right now, up 1.65%. And the best performer of them all, gold. The Friday session was pretty dramatic. It was a pretty aggressive engulfing pattern that happened on Friday. And today, it's the exact same candle. I mean, almost tick for tick. If I move this candle up just a little bit, it's like they're identical. Just move it up just a hair. They're side by side. This is a very positive sign for gold going forward. And I don't know if you guys have been hearing all the talk track about Elon Musk auditing Fort Knox. Love it. I've said it on this show many times, kind of joking. We're always told that the gold is in Fort Knox, but I have no idea. I have no idea if there's gold. I don't know if there's one bar in Fort Knox or if it's a complete scam. I have no idea. One thing that was interesting for me back in 1997, I'm dating myself here, but back in 1997, when I was in college, I was the president of the financial management organization on campus, right? Whatever, some stupid club for us finance nerds. And we orchestrated a trip to the Federal Reserve in San Francisco. So we went downstairs. We got a private tour because we're finance people. So of course they gave us a little, red carpet treatment. It was kind of cool. And we walked downstairs, and they have these giant glass cages underneath the building, the big glass rooms where the employees are like in surgeon suits, right? They got gloves and masks and hats, and they're all dressed in white. And these big carts, like Raiders of the Lost Ark type of, Ark of the Covenant type boxes would roll in full of cash, and they were just counting all this money. They would count it, document it, and then throw it in a shredder. We also got to go a little bit further down the hallway. There was this giant doorway with these massive, massive bars, like huge bars. Look like a jail cell, but for giants. And you look in there, and there's these pallets and just stacks of these carts. And each cart had to be a couple $1 million, easy. Stacks 30 feet high of pallets of these carts. I mean, hundreds of millions of dollars just standing there. And then off to the right, in the back of that room, you could see the glow of gold bars. And you could see just a little bit, but pallets stacked with gold bars. And I was like, whoa, pretty crazy. And so we're looking at it, and it had another, gold bars, bars in front of that room. So it was like a secondary, security checkpoint. And in my mind, I'm like, is that really gold? Or are those just, bars painted gold to look real and give this illusion? Well, yeah, definitely been in bank robbing movies. It was pretty cool. Bank robbing movies. But it was, makes me wonder what's really in there. And Elon Musk is going to audit Fort Knox. I'll tell you, I'm in the camp of, I don't believe that what we say is in Fort Knox is in Fort Knox. I think that it's going to be grossly less than that. So I don't know the exact number, but let's say it's, 300 tons. I'll bet there's like half that. And it's kind of scary because what happens if that gets audited and we realize that that's all gone, that it's not there, that we're, where is it all? Have people been pilfering that for years and we just don't know because there's never been an audit? I think audits need to be much more prevalent in our government and government offices. What Oliver got is a 1 ounce. I saw him at Costco too last time I was there. I actually was thinking about buying one. It was like $2,800. I was like, maybe I'd already be up on the trade. Really kind of cute little 1 ounce ingots. Bitcoin goes nuts at that point. I think so too, John. So kind of, crossing my fingers on that one. I hope that one pans out. But, I am interested to see what these audits do hold for things like the IRS or things like Fort Knox, right? There's a lot of numbers that we've been told and quoted that, this is the way it is. Is it? I have no idea, right? There's nobody who answers for the missing gold, Rob. That'd be a great question. I have no clue. But I think if it is missing or if it's off at all, like let's be honest, if they say they have 300 tons of gold in a vault, there better be 300 tons exactly. To the gram better be there. It won't be. There's no way, as inefficient as our government is, that will be precise. I'll give you another reason why I think there's no way that will happen. When Dole Pineapple Dole Pineapple was a publicly traded company. And in 2013, Dole Pineapple was acquired and went private, right? It was removed from the stock exchange. And the way that works is the acquirer has to buy all the shares. So at the time, I believe there was 39.7 million shares of Dole Pineapple. No, 36.7 million shares. When all the dust had settled, apparently there was magically 49 million shares. So it was like created out of thin air. There were more shares than were publicly traded. Where did this come from? It came from accounting problems at the DTCC. You can look up the story, guys. I'm not making this up. DTCC is a Depository Trust Clearing Corporation, which is a government-sponsored entity to custody all of the stocks in the United States. So when you have your shares of Apple sitting at E-Trade just ledger entries them over to the DTCC. So somehow their system was so inadequate that there's a 30% increase in the amount of circulating Dole shares. This creates a big problem. So if you can't even keep shares of a stock accurate, how are you going to keep physical ounces of gold accurate? It's magic. Yeah, a lot of problems, man. A lot of problems. So I like the auditing side. I'm curious how it all transpires. Hopefully it's not too damaging, but it's about time we had clarity on what we are told we have. Let's see. Really like the 10-ounce silver bars at Costco. They have 10-ounce silver bars? Really? They have 10-ounce silver bars? They have $28,000 bars. I thought they were all ones. Sounds like Michael Saylor. Ouch. Since gold is not linked to anything anymore, would it affect the market? It would affect the gold market. It would affect the gold market for sure. But I think it would, and this is a big question, Steve, I can't answer. In my mind, this would seriously damage the integrity of the U.S. government. Not like it can be damaged much more, but seriously damage the integrity of the U.S. government. It would cause us as citizens to trust even less any data that comes from the government, which I don't trust much of it anyway. I'm curious. I don't know. I don't know how that would impact. Certainly, I think it would create... I think the markets would sell off on that news that they're grossly underfunded with regards to how much gold they say. And the reason I think that'll happen is it's a sign of weakness. If we don't have all this asset backing our country, which we say we do, then we don't have as much value as a country. Right? A lot of people look at gold holdings as that's what gives part of our economy its strength, our government its strength, its power and money. But if you don't have that, what do you have? You don't have the power. So I don't know. I think it would be pretty damaging. They got 1-ounce silver bars, and you can get 20 of them for one price. I would definitely buy the silver. Does Costco charge the price of gold bars daily? It definitely changes, John. Definitely does. Oh. I would do the silver. I would go buy, I'd like to be like gold bar or silver bars. I'll definitely buy silver. All right, let's go into your economic calendar and stuff for mañana. Just want to make sure we get through that, and then we'll. By the way, I don't know if you guys know, it's a sad day for the market today. I know this is a depressing day, but Meta ended its 20-day win streak. 20 days in a row, it's been up. 20 days. That is phenomenal. And it ended today. Pity party. Blow out the candle. It's over. Let's go into the economic calendar. So, obviously, we had yesterday, Canada dropped their rates by 25 basis points. Right now, the expectation is that in just 2 hours, New Zealand is going to cut theirs by 50 basis points. That seems to be a little bit dramatic here. They're just trying to juice their economy, I guess. But 50 basis point cut for the New Zealand Reserve Bank of New Zealand. That's probably the biggest news of the day is what's going to happen down there. Even though it's not the major currency, certainly check out your New Zealand dollar trading pairs. You also had TIC long-term purchases come out today, which were worse than expected, and Empire State Manufacturing Index. I think this one's interesting because we have been struggling to stay above zero. I mean, here's your Empire State Manufacturing Index. Anything above zero reflects optimism and expansion with regards to manufacturing in the New York area. Number two, the most of it's to the downside, meaning contraction and pessimism. That's not good. So the expectation was we're going to come out at negative 1 point something, and now it came out at 5.7. Thank you for that one, John. I appreciate it. Yeah, they are charging a little bit of premium for the silver, but I would definitely go buy some. So I might go buy some. Call my Costco and see if they got some silver. I do like the silver. I've got a bunch of gold coins. I don't have any silver coins other than like the Kennedy, pre-60 something. But I want to have some silver bars. Why not? All right, so that's that. As far as earnings go, we did have Alibaba report earnings today. They crushed earnings, and we ended up being down like 7%. Let's check out Baba for you, just so you guys can see that one, and then we'll jump to the earnings for tomorrow. Baidu, BIDU. So Baidu reported today, and you can see, man, they just got crushed and sold off all day. Down 7.51%. Even though they're expected to come out with $1.78 earnings. They came out at $2.63. huge beat, and they still got crushed. Arista Networks beat earnings, and they got crushed. Medtronic got crushed. So ugly day for earnings, even though you were positive. Tomorrow, what do we have? Well, from the big cap names, you've got HSBC, Analog Devices, Carvana. Let's see, U.S. we have Manulife. That's pretty much it. Garmin. Then we're getting to smaller stuff down here at the bottom. Little teeny weeny little companies, but that's pretty much it. So there you go. That's your show and news for the day. I want to give a shout out to Dr. Pepper for sponsoring. Dr. Pepper keeping me energized today. Now I got to go take the old pup to the vet, getting some shots, and we'll be good to go. So thank you guys so much. Hope you enjoyed it. Gold and silver dealers cannot touch the Costco prices. Yeah, I know. When I went to buy the gold bar I was looking at the gold bar at Costco, it was like $10 over spot. $10. I should have bought them, but I don't know, didn't want to. Anyway. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Hope you enjoyed today. Hope you have fun trading tomorrow. Should be a good one. From the economic announcement perspective for tomorrow, I didn't bring up that calendar. Let me bring that calendar up so we can see it, because here is Wednesday. You have FOMC meeting minutes. You have a couple FOMC members will be speaking. And then on the housing front, you've got building permits and housing starts. And that's pretty much it for tomorrow. Really the bigger news happening on Thursday and Friday. So we'll leave it there. Oh, there we go. No, you don't have to buy a Dr. Pepper. I try not to drink sodas, but I needed a little caffeine here today, so that's what I had with. So thank you guys so much. Have a fantastic remainder of your day. If you want me to cover something, email me, tradermerlin@gmail.com, and I will get to it tomorrow. Thank you guys. Have a great day.